Welcome to another systems edition of NCIX Tech Tips. You may think you've seen this system before. It looks an awful lot like the old Vesta i1, but this one has some key improvements that have given it the designation Vesta i1 EVO. So it still has the sweet carbon fiber vinyl wrap that's self-healing if you get small nicks in it, but the insides have evolved in a way that makes this flagship Ivy Bridge gaming machine a sight to behold. As always, we're going to start with the exterior. If you guys have been watching Tech Tips a long time, you'll probably already know that I really like the Corsair Obsidian 650D, and I especially like it with the carbon fiber wrap on it. It has a lot of convenient features. So we'll start at the front of the case, where you've got your power and your hard drive activity LED, and where is it? Ah, yes. Everything else is hidden under a convenient folding panel, giving you access to two USB 3.0 ports, a microphone and headphone jack, two USB 2.0 ports, FireWire, and a reset switch, all hidden away where they belong, where cats cannot accidentally step on them and trigger them. We've got an included DVD rewriter, as well as an additional three 5¼ bays that can be used for whatever else you want. The front fan filter is easily removable and can be cleaned and replaced in only a couple of moments. The side panels are awesome for upgrades because they've got tool-free latches on both the right and left side panel that allow you to easily get access to the insides, whether you need to plug in hard drives. See, that's a funny thing about a lot of cases is they have like tool-free sliders so you can plug your hard drives in from the one side, but then they have a side panel. You have to take screws out of the back, open it up, and then to actually plug the SATA cables into the back of it. So this is a lot smarter than that. And on the top of the case, speaking of SATA, if you wanted to plug in a hard drive to use for storage, and you're planning to just use it again, like just for mass storage, only use it from time to time, check this out. This little door right here actually moves aside and allows you to plug either a 2.5-inch or a 3.5-inch drive, and it can just kind of stick out of the top. The great thing about this system on the 650D compared to other cases is that you can cover it up and stealth it when you're not actually using it. Last but not least, up in the top you can see you have installation points for either dual 120mm fans or dual 140mm fans. Right now you can see there's two 120s because it's using the latest Corsair H100i to cool the CPU. Last but not least, I/O is handled by the Asus Sabertooth motherboard that is installed in the system. So you got four USB 2 ports up there, four USB 3 ports, a plethora of display options, including DisplayPort and HDMI. Okay, that's not really a plethora, but don't worry about it. BIOS flashback, two eSATA ports running at 6 gigabit per second, SPDIF out, gigabit Ethernet, and 7.1 audio out. I/O down here is handled by a GTX 680, so remember you can support up to 3+1 displays on that for surround gaming with an auxiliary display. And then sound is powered by an Asus Zonar DGX. What's great about this sound card is it actually has an included headphone amp, meaning it is optimized for headphone users, even if you have high impedance headphones that require more power to drive them. And as always, it's time to crack it open and find out which side of the performance spectrum this PC falls under. I think we already knew based on the Vesta i1 branding that it was going to be a pretty rockin' machine, but once we actually open it up, we see that it is, well, a very rocking machine. So the custom lighting is not only at the top and bottom with these alchemy strips, but also in the front of the case. The motherboard is an Asus Z77 Sabertooth board, so that's why you have that extremely clean look inside, where you can't really see any of the components on the board itself because they have their thermal armor over top of the whole thing. The CPU is a 3770K overclocked to 4.4 gigahertz. That is a factory overclock, so your system is completely under warranty at that speed, and it is cooled by a Corsair H100i that has been modified in push-pull with Bitphoenix Spectre Pro fans. So the stock Corsair fans are here, pushing air through the rad, while the Spectre Pros are up at the top pulling air through. Those are blue LED fans, so that helps with the overall blue LED lit effect. There's 16 gigs of Corsair Dominator Platinum memory, and it looks like there's 2 low-profile sticks next to them, but those are actually placeholders that come with the Sabertooth. They're dust covers to prevent any damage and dust or debris from falling into those other slots when they are not populated with memory. For video, there's a GeForce GTX 680 top from Asus. This card is clocked at over 1.1 gigahertz, and it is actually a triple slot card, so it has an incredibly beefy cooler. The great thing about the Sabertooth board, though, is that if you still wanted to install another 680 top, you actually could, due to the way that they have the PCI Express slots spaced out. This DGX sound card, if you were going to do that, could actually be moved up to the top PCI Express 4X slot. The power supply is an AX860i. This is their newly, again, it's fitting with that evolved theme, newly evolved AX series that instead of 80 plus gold certification has 80 plus platinum certification and includes Corsair Link, which is also included with the H100i, so you can monitor all kinds of cool stuff about your system using software. And for storage, they've gone with a Neutron GTX 240 gig SSD and a 3 terabyte Seagate Barracuda for your mass storage. So the main takeaway here, guys, is that the NCIXPC is evolving. Not just the i1, but all of them in general. I usually end with sort of what I would change about this system to make it better, or, I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. You could add another 680. It's already got 16 gigs of 1866 RAM, so you want to run virtual machines or something, you could throw in another 16 gigs of RAM. It's already got an H100i. It's already just pretty much as ballin' out as it gets, but not just this system is changing. Check this out. This is the all-new NCIXPC prepackaged Windows 8 box. So if you buy an NCIXPC that has Windows 8, you'll get one of these. It comes with your Windows disk inside, as well as any other disks for the hardware that came with your machine. It also might have some little handy tips and tricks. So this one right here comes with instructions for how to take one of the Metro UI, rather modern UI tiles, and click on it, and it will install the start menu. So if you missed the start menu from Windows 7 and before, and you want to add it to Windows 8, this particular machine, and should be pretty much any NCIX PC with Windows 8, will come with a little sort of preloaded but not installed, because you guys have to be the ones to install it, icon, and it shows you how to add that to your experience. Thank you for checking out this systems edition of NCIX Tech Tips, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys want computer systems that are infused with magic, you know, now that we don't have Steve Jobs to infuse computer systems with magic, here's some magic for you. The magic floating Windows license sticker. I don't know if you guys can see this, but we'll do a close-up of how your license for Windows 8 for this machine magically hovers above the computer itself as if suspended. Well, I don't know, by magnets or pockets of air or whatever. Magic's not real. I knew that.